Hey everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and new video series starting today. This is the introduction to Linux videos. Here in video 1, we are going to look at how to install a Linux system on your computer. We will specifically we will be using Xubuntu 14.04, and the installer that this operating system uses is the same installer used in tons and tons of other Ubuntu-based Linux systems. So basically, if you can install this one, there's a lot of other systems that you can install. So let's just get right to the point of the video. Grab a drink and some popcorn, kick back, and enjoy the show. All right, we are on my Windows partition of my computer. Why are we in Windows if we're doing a Linux video? Well, I'll tell you. If I'm going to show you how to do this, I'm going to show you starting from the same place that you will probably be starting from, which is a Windows system. XP, 7, 8, Vista, it really doesn't matter. This procedure is essentially going to be the same all the way through. So, without talking about it anymore, let's just get right to it. First thing that we are going to need to do there we go. Whatever reason that it wasn't working right. Anyway, we need to go out and get the operating system that we're going to install. The one that I'm going to use this whole tutorial series is called Xubuntu. It is a derivative of Ubuntu, which is probably the most used Linux operating system out there. Huge amount of community support behind it. So if you got a question, you can probably find it out there online on how to fix whatever your problem is. So we're just going to go to the download page. You can either do a torrent download or a regular download. If you know how to use torrents, you know, there they are right there. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we're just going to go with a regular download. So go here where it says mirror downloads. Pick the country that you're either in or closest to. In my case, it's the US. Now you have two choices for your downloads here. 64-bit, which is if you have 4 gigabytes or more of RAM. And then right here where it says Intel x86, that is also known as 32-bit. If you have an older computer, go with 32-bit. Even if it's a newer computer and you have less than 4 gigabytes of RAM, you can use the 32-bit. Now the 64-bit, you can use that on a newer computer that has less than 4 gigs of RAM. But if you have more than that 4 gigs of RAM, it is pretty much essential to use it, at least if you want to be able to use all of your RAM, you need to use that 64-bit image. So just click on whichever one you're going to download, and then boom, your download starts. Now, in the interest of time savings, I already downloaded this, so I'm just going to cancel out of that. And we will move on to the next stage of setting this up. You can't just click on that file that we just downloaded and it'll magically install itself. We are going to have to put that either on a DVD or a USB stick to install, and that's what we're going to do next. So let me pause this video here. Okay, there are essentially two different ways. Like I said before, there's two different things that we can do here. We can either burn our operating system to a DVD, or we can go and put it on a USB. I'm going to show you how to do both. Alright, first let me just pull up the file that we downloaded, which I put in came down to my downloads, Ubuntu 14.04, right there. If you just right click it, see where it says burn disk image, just basically follow the instructions from this point. Make sure you got a blank DVD in the drive, disk burner, make sure it's the right drive selected, click burn. Boom, that's it, done. A little more complicated if you are going to go to a USB stick. And actually, it's the method that I prefer, just because if you're somebody like me that likes to try out a whole bunch of different operating systems, you don't want a stack of 500 DVDs and each one's got a different operating system on it. This way, every time I want to try out a new one, I just put it on the USB. Plus, there's plenty of newer computers, especially netbooks, some laptops that don't have a DVD drive. So this is the most practical way to get the operating system on there. You're going to need another piece of software to do the install, and the one I always use is called Win32 Disk Imager. See, it already pops up. Just download it. I've already downloaded it. You can see it's right there. And you extract the files from that zip file. I don't know if you've never done it here. Let me just right click on there. Click on where it says extract all, and it'll extract all these zipped files to a file folder, and it'll pop up. You want this Win32 Disk Imager. So you double click on that, click yes. This is the little dialog box that pops up. Now, why it does this, I don't know, but see where it says files of type? You need to go and change this to the dot between the two asterisks. Sorry, I don't know what that's called. Not a programmer, just a computer user. But anyway, select that for your file type. Come up here and select the Xubuntu, and make sure that's the correct. I've never known this program to not be able to find your USB stick. But just make sure that's the correct drive right there where it says device E, and then click right. That's all you got to do. Now this process takes a little while for it to do the right, so I'm going to pause the video, and we'll come back so that you can see what it says after we've done our right and everything like that. Okay, we are back, and after you've finished up burning your USB, here's a little message that you get: write successful. Boom, you're done. Close it all up. You're ready to go. All right, so we have downloaded our operating system. We have installed it on either a DVD or a USB. There's one final thing that we need to do before we can install it on our computer, and that is we need to make a adjustment to the BIOS settings of our computer. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what is a BIOS? Okay, your BIOS, it may also be called, some people may call it system BIOS, ROM BIOS, PC BIOS, but it is a firmware interface. Basically, its job is to initialize and test your hardware components, and then it loads the operating system. Okay, so now unfortunately there's not really wasn't really a good way for me to shoot a video of working with the BIOS, so I kind of did the next best thing and just shot a couple of pictures, and let me show you those so that you can get an idea what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, there's not just one BIOS. Over the years, there have been tons and tons of different BIOS versions, and different manufacturers use different types and all that kind of stuff. So, there's no way for me to show you exactly what your particular computer is going to be, what it's going to look like. Now, I took a few pictures of the BIOS on my Dell Latitude. Um, it is one of the Dell D830s, so anything from that same time period that was a Dell probably has something similar. Um, but this will give you an idea of what you need to look for. Um, Now, when you first turn on the computer, you'll probably see something like this. Now, obviously, if it's HP or some other brand, um, it's not going to say Dell. But see where up here where I'm circling with my mouse, F2 to set up, F12 the boot menu. Okay, um, what you're going to want to do is take a look at your boot menu, um, and you want, if you're installing via DVD, you want to make sure that your DVD player is number one on that boot menu. If you are installing by USB, you want to make sure that USB is your number one on that boot menu. So let me show you the next picture I took, and this is the setup screen on once you go into the BIOS on my Dell Latitude, and you can see right here it's a boot sequence. I had selected that, and it lists right there is my boot sequence. So the first thing the computer will do when it's looking for an operating system is look for the DVD drive. Second thing it'll look for is the USB storage. Then it'll go to the hard drive. Okay, so if I'm installing from the DVD, that's what I want first. So you would just go in here, change the order. It's got instructions right down here. Press enter to modify the setting, up, down, arrows to select different field, blah, blah, blah. Okay, just follow the directions there. Get it in the order so that either that USB or DVD is number one on the list, and then you're going to close out of that. Obviously, like I said, every system is going to be a little bit different. Make sure that whatever settings you make are saved. I've done that before, gone in and made my changes and then forgot to save on the way out. And it's like, oh, why isn't this working the way it should? Yeah, save your changes that you make. Okay, so anyway, so that's how that looks. Um, the next thing we're going to do, we are ready to actually install our operating system. So get that DVD in the DVD drive, put the USB in the USB drive, and then it's time to hit the power button on your computer. Now, so that I can demonstrate this, I'm going to be doing an installation in what they call VirtualBox, which basically it allows me to create sort of a fake computer drive on my desktop computer. It's the easiest way for me to shoot a video showing the actual installation process. Um, I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that they do reviews of different the different Linux operating systems using VirtualBox. Personally, I don't like to do it that way because um, you don't get the real experience of what how that particular operating system works on the real computer itself. But for demonstrating the installation, I think it's the perfect tool. So let me pause the video, get VirtualBox fired up, and then we will move on with our installation. Okay, so here we are. This is basically the first thing you're going to see when that computer fires up. Is you'll see Ubuntu 14.04, the little dots changing place, and it takes a few minutes for everything to load up off of that DVD or USB so that you can start the installation process. So um, and working in a virtual box the way I am, it makes the whole process even slower. So I will probably pause this video a few times just to save time so that you're just not staring at this, the blinking dots. Um, and but we'll walk through each and every step. that you'll encounter as you're doing this installation. Okay, so after everything's loaded off of that USB or DVD, this is what the screen that you're going to see. So it gives you a welcome. You get to pick your language there, and then you can either try Ubuntu or install Ubuntu. If you select the try, basically it'll let you try out the system running from either that USB or from the disk. Go ahead and try it out if you want to, that sort of thing. Obviously, in this video, we're going to do the installation, so that's what we're going to select. But if you want to give it a try before you do the installation, by all means, go ahead and give that a try. But here, let's click on that Install Xubuntu. And this next screen, preparing to install for best results. Need to have at least 5.7 gigs of drive space. You are connected to the internet. Now you can download updates while installing, or not, or you can wait until after the entire installation and then do updates. Either way, it's up to you. I typically do it afterwards. There's also this here, install third-party software. These are I guess what you call proprietary software that, well, some of it's proprietary, some of it's not, but stuff that will help with playing certain video codes, audio, that sort of thing. Like I say, you can either do it now, or even if you don't do it now, you can install those things later on. I'm just going to leave it as is and click continue, so we can install our base system here. Alright, this computer currently has no detected operating systems. What would you like to do? And then you've got your options there. If you have Windows on your computer now, and you would like to keep Windows, you will also have an option that pops up that says something like install alongside Windows 7 or install along Windows XP. You can do that and you'll have both systems on your computer. In this case, we're just going to do a clean, fresh install of Xubuntu. It'll erase everything else that's on the hard drive and install Xubuntu on there. Now for a little more advanced user, this right here where it says something else, you can go in and select partition sizes, resize partitions, all that kind of stuff on a hard drive. Probably a little more advanced than you know, the people that would be watching this video. You know, if you're watching a basic install video, we're not going to worry about the something else category. We're just doing a basic install, so we're just going to do the erase disk and install Xubuntu. Click install now, and it's going to begin the process. Okay, now where are you? Generally it does a pretty good job of auto detecting what time zone you're in. If it doesn't, just type in here, you know, I'm in London, England, or Quebec, Canada, you know, wherever you're at, and it'll pull up that time zone for you. Click continue. Choose your keyboard layout. I have found that usually it selects the right one for you, but just in case it didn't select the correct keyboard, select the correct keyboard and the right key pattern. Click continue. Alright, so we put in our name, choose your computer's name, pick a username, give yourself a password. You can choose for it to log in automatically or require a password. I always require a password, but do whichever you want. You can select to encrypt my home folder if need be. And boom, now we're going to do it. It's actually doing the installation now. And while it's running, you'll see a whole bunch of little slides that pop across telling you all about Xubuntu. But basically, as far as the installation, we're just about finished. There's really nothing else that we need to do. Now, just to kind of give you a heads up, like I said, we're doing Xubuntu, which is Ubuntu plus the XFCE desktop interface. That's what gives you Xubuntu. Ubuntu itself uses a interface called Unity. There's also Gnome interface. There's OpenBox. There's Enlightenment. What am I missing? LXDE, which is a very lightweight system. There's tons and tons of options out there. So like I said, I'm going to try to do a video that'll show you some different desktop environments, and everybody's preferences is different. So just get out there and try some different ones, see what you like. Like I said, I'm going with Xubuntu just because one, there's a lot of different tweaks and pretty cool stuff that you can do to that desktop. So it gives me the opportunity to show you how to do some of that kind of stuff. And then also, I think it's a pretty good desktop to start people out on. It's not too different from Windows in that you'll be totally lost and confused. There is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but with Xubuntu, I don't think it'll be too bad. But anyway, I'm going to pause the video while it's going through all of these slides here. Obviously, you'll get to read them all when you're doing your own install. But no reason to burn up all this video time with these slides. Okay, as you can see, our installation is essentially done. You get this little message that pops up. Installation is complete. You need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. So click the restart now. And after a moment, you will see a message pop up that tells you to remove, there it is, see, please remove installation media and close the tray, then press enter. Tray is assuming that you're using a laptop. Okay, so take the disk out, pull the USB out, hit enter. You are done. Okay, you can reboot the system, and so I'm going to take the disk out here. Boom, 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 boom. Hit enter, and your system will boot. Now, a lot of times on the first boot out of the gate, it might take a little bit of time. And of course, I'm working in VirtualBox, so I get these goofy messages that pop up. So boom, there it is, ready to go. Your login screen. Put in your password, enter, and boom, it's up and running. So I'm going to end this video right here, and I guess you call it episode number 2. We will take a look at, I'll show you all the different functions, where everything is on the desktop, all that kind of stuff, how to access the internet and settings and all that kind of stuff. Um, and what I'm going to do, rather than do all that in VirtualBox, because like I said, I don't really like working in VirtualBox, but it was really the only way that I could record this installation video. I'm installing as a fresh copy of Xubuntu on my laptop. We'll do all of the continuing video series from my laptop, um, and just go from there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Got friends that maybe you'd like to try to convince them to give a Linux system a try, but they think it's too complicated or beyond their ability, whatever. Be sure to share the video with them, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Comments, questions, all that kind of stuff, leave it in the comment section below. And thanks a lot. See you on the next video.